Initially I was going to, what I had done when I first bought this rear cowl is I took it to a local paint shop and they told me all I had to do was sand the clear coat down, not off, rough it up. At that point I could hit it with primer and I could paint over the decals that were here. As long as I sanded down the clear coat enough, I could paint over the decals. So that was my initial plan. If you watched my last video, that's what I was going to start doing. Actually, I had already started it in terms of sanding it down. Then I got a message from our good friend Mr. Delboy, who suggested I do things a bit differently. Del felt that the paint would lift over these decals that were here. So I'm not a painter by any stretch. I'm a total novice. So what do I know? Del's never steered me wrong, so if Del says to do things differently, I'll try them differently. So what Del suggested to me was to leave everything the way I had it, which is again the clear coat sanded down, hit it with 3 coats of primer, and then sand it off with 400 grit. And what would end up happening, he said, was some of these spots, high spots, would fill in. And sure enough, that's what happened. Del suggested I do that 2 or 3 times, so I've done it twice already. 3 coats of primer, sand it down 2 times. I'm going to do it one more time tomorrow and see where we're at. So after this last sanding, the decals started to come off, but the adhesive didn't, so I had to take that off by hand. And that was kind of a bitch. I had to use some adhesive remover, but I had to use my fingernail and scrape it back and forth, and it was a real pain in the ass to get off. But I did manage to get all the adhesive off. Anyway, I'm going to put 3 more coats of primer on this tomorrow, and after I do that, I'll hit the video camera up again and record it, and then sand it down. We'll see what it looks like. Okay, so here's where I'm at. This cowl has had 9 coats of primer. It's been wet sanded every time in between, and it's ready for paint. So I'm going to get this outside, set it up, and hit it with a coat of white. I don't want to touch it because I've already degreased it, but you can pretty much see, I think, in the light here, it's pretty smooth. It's good to go, ready to paint. So let's give it a coat and see what it looks like. Okay, so this has had 3 coats of white. I've masked off or taped off my striping, which is going to be orange, white, orange. And I took quite a bit of time to try and get this as even as possible. I am not a painter. I am not artistic in the least. I'm not a painter. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a bike builder. But one thing I'm certainly not is artistic. So for me to get straight lines and be creative, it's just not in my DNA. So I did the best I could with this. I think I'm pretty even here. These are set off the right distance all the way down, so I think I'm pretty straight. Once I get the orange on here, it should look pretty good. So I got to mask off the rest, what's going to stay white, and then hit it with the orange. The orange striping actually gets a base coat of white, so that was easy. Just hit the whole thing with white. White came out pretty good. I don't know if you can see in the light. Light's terrible in here. But the white came out good. I hit the underside too as well. Wouldn't make sense for me not to do that. So I'll spray the orange probably tomorrow. Just figured I would add on to the video here and just show you where I'm at now. Okay, so we're almost there. We're getting there. I've laid down the orange. They started to do larger stripes on the outside than I was going to originally do, but that's because I like the orange color and I just thought I would try and add a little bit more of it. So it just needs a clear coat now, except for one problem, one issue is I got some overspray right there. The tape wasn't pressed down hard enough, and I got a little overspray. So I'll have to sand that off. I'll tape from here back, and then I'll sand this off and just hit the side again with some white. I'll try and blend it in if I can. If not, I'll hit the whole side with white and it should be fine. Otherwise, it came out pretty nice. I think you know, once we get the clear coat over here, it should be, you know, much smoother. And let's just see something here. Let's take a look-see. So again, there's no clear on this, but hang on a second, let's try this way. I don't have my seat back from the upholsterer yet. So there we go. Once we get the clear coat on, I think it'll look complete, because it will be complete. So I'm going to let this dry overnight. See if I can get it in the light here, show you a little better. It's kind of hard. So there we are. Like I said, I'll sand that off, hit it with white, but I'm going to let it dry overnight before I do anything else to it. So there we are. I'll get the camera back on again after I clear coat it, and we'll see what it looks like. So far, so good. Okay, so here we are after 3 coats of clear yesterday. What I need to do now is wet sand it with 2000 grit, and then buff it and wax it. Let's see what it comes out looking like. Not too bad. The only problem is, let's see if I can show you here. The orange doesn't totally match. It looks a little better outside, but this orange on the tank, the factory orange, is a little bit darker than this. But I think, you know, once this gets on there, you know, out in the sun, you won't notice too much. I tried to find a match for the gold, a paint code for the gold, but no luck. No luck with that, so I just had to go with the orange and white. So I don't think it's too bad. I think it'll look okay. So there we go. That's it. Pretty much done. Just gotta wet sand it, compound it, and buff it. And I should have my seat back in the next day or two, and we'll see how it looks. Turn the camera back on after I get it all put together. Okay, here's the finished product and project, I guess both. And I actually was able to get my seat back from the upholsterer today. Obviously not finished, but he wanted me to take it back and try it out before he finished it. So let me go over the cowl first. It's been, as I said in my last video, clear coated. It all came out nice. It's smooth finish, shines. It's the right color for the most part. If I go back here and kind of look at both, I think it looks pretty good. So I'm happy with it. It's not perfect, but I'm not a painter, as I said, and so I think it came out nice. I like it. The seat I'll do a separate video on, I guess, or maybe not. Yeah, I'll talk about it now. He took about an inch off of here, almost an inch, and not quite. I need him to go down a little bit further here. And then what he told me was he's got a lot of room on the sides here to come in more. So he's going to really kind of contour this and taper it more so for me. So it'll be a much better fit in terms of getting my feet flatter on the ground. My feet right now are maybe 1/4 of an inch off the ground, which isn't bad, but I still like to be flat-footed. So I like to try and get him a little closer if I could. So I'm going to bring this seat back to him tomorrow, let him know how it worked out, and have him finish shaping it. And I'm sure by next weekend I'll have it back. But either way, it doesn't matter because I can't ride now on it because it's just too goddamn cold. So there. And the snow is coming. So the cowl is done. Let me step back and see if we can kind of get a picture of the rear cowl and the tank, which look pretty good together. I think the cowl looks pretty good with that chrome fender, although I might get rid of the fender altogether maybe in the spring. I don't know, I'll have to spend some time thinking about that. I have a family member who works for a company that makes exhaust wrap, so I have some titanium wrap coming to me for the header pipes, and I'll wrap those over the winter. So I think it's coming along. Looks pretty good, I think. Get that seat shaped, and the front headlight. I think one of my videos previously I talked about making the trim orange. I actually made it black. I think it looks better in black. So I changed that. But let's get back to the cowl for a minute. Again, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. Far from perfect, but a pretty good job for a novice, I think. And let me just show everybody what I used, in case you're curious. For primer, I didn't buy anything off the shelf. There's no Rust-Oleum or no paint off the shelf at a hardware store. It was all pre-mixed paint from an auto parts store. So I used good materials and spent a little bit of money on it. For primer, I used this 1K epoxy primer. And that's what I built up the shell with. I think this probably cost me about $10 or $12, something like that. And then as far as the colors, I actually got the color codes for this paint right here off the internet, and I was able to have the auto paint shop mix some colors for me, so in a spray can no less. So here, there's tangerine. Here's the white. Oh, where'd it go? Boop, boop, boop. Here we go, right here. Here's the color for the white. It's a DuPont chroma based paint in a spray can. Here's the tangerine, the orange. Where's the paint code in there? I don't see it. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where the paint code is, but that's the orange, tangerine. And then for the clear coat, let's see, where'd it go? For the clear coat, I use this right here, 2K clear. And what happens is, I don't have the top part, but there's a little red button here that sits in the top of this cap. And when you're ready to use this, you take the button out, turn the can over, put the red button here, and give it a smash. And what that does is it activates the catalyst in the clear coat, and it makes the clear coat harden. So it really is a professional type clear coat that they would use out of a spray gun in an auto body shop, as opposed to something you might buy over the shelf that would just give it a shine and maybe harden it a little bit. This clear coat here, again, it's the same kind of thing they would use in auto body shops. So that's what I use for a clear coat. This was pretty expensive. This was in the $20 range, and once you activate it, you really only have about a day or so to use it, and then it's junk. You got to throw it in the garbage can. So I have some more left. It's been a little bit over 24 hours. If I had something else to paint, I would use it, but I think it's probably going to end up going in the trash can, which is unfortunate, but it's a good it's a good clear coat. I always want to call it a primer. I don't know why. So it's worth spending a little extra money on it. So that's what I used, and that's how things came out. So any questions or comments, as always, leave them in the box below. And that's all I got. So that's my rear cowl for my Bonneville, and we'll see where else the bike takes me in terms of projects, but I'm sure in the next month or so, I'll have some more videos, or at least one more video to post on some updates on my changes to the bike. So that's all I got. See you soon. Bye.